we'll get started, but where's our applicant?
Who's up first? Buttermilk?
Yeah,
Buttermilk is up first. I just sent Josie the link again. She knew to be here for 7 tonight.
Any chance anyone's hidden behind there? No.
I don't believe so. I'm not seeing
Chelsye
anybody.
was here, but
It's just
Chelsye
seven.
just took a phone call and stepped out.
Trevor.
the
And
roads are clear.
Give him a few minutes. It's
I believe-
7:01.
and I
Last night would have been a difference, especially coming from Montpelier or Stowe.
It was rough coming anywhere, any direction in here.
I heard some real horror stories.
I was in four-wheel drive high and I was still sliding sideways, going up.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
a,
it's
It
just
was
like
awful. It was awful.
perfect conditions.
you know you're completely out of control.
Once I dragged my feet and getting snow tires on. So.
Me too.
I'd imagine this is Josie.
Well, we've been kind of lulled into a false sense of security the last.
Exactly.
But-
We haven't gotten real
Figured
snow
that was
in
the kind of start.
But
January.
in typical Vermont fashion,
Yeah.
you knew it would change immediately.
Well, I knew, you know what? I knew we were gonna pay for it because of this summer. You know,
How dry it
no
was.
rain,
Right.
beautiful and sunny the
Yeah,
entire, you know,
September.
it was
Okay.
like gonna come back.
Welcome, Yoga for Cancer admin. If you are Josie, yep, awesome.
I am.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Name.
I thought I changed my
worries.
account. So that's my
No,
my
you're good.
day-to-day job. So
Awesome. I'm
Hi,
glad you
everyone.
could join us. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Brendan should be coming as well. So anyways.
All right.
You want it online too, but.
I saw that one. Are we waiting for
Brandon.
Brendan?
Yep.
I'll text him. He was coming. But we can get going because I know
That
he's
looks-
on.
The real key.
Well, I see we have Josie here. Josie did mention that that she'd be comfortable moving forward without Brendan.
Okay, you want to start, Josie?
Yeah, sure. He should be here any second, so no worries. So I wasn't sure if or do you want to open the meeting or have you already done that? Sorry, I
Yeah,
was a
let
few
me
minutes
open
late.
the meeting. So welcome to the November meeting of the Development Review Board for the town. Oh, I'm sorry. Have you started recording?
We are recording.
Okay.
Yes.
To the DRB for November 12th of 2025. We have two applications on the agenda. First one is CUR 2025-05 Buttermilk LLC, and they're seeking DRB approval to convert 5,245 square foot of existing unoccupied commercial space into 9 residential dwelling units made up of studios and 1 bedrooms. No changes to the second and third floor are proposed. They are asking for some change to the 1 remaining commercial unit, putting a bathroom and small kitchenette in it. And they're going to put in a new window well and my other minor exterior and site plan improvements. So let me swear you in, Josie. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Is there anybody on the board who has a conflict of any way with this application or with the applicants? I don't.
I don't know.
I do not.
Nor do I. Josie, why don't you tell us what you have in mind here?
Sure. First, my name is Josie Keitel. Myself and Brendan, who will be coming on, are one of the 2 major partners on Buttermilk. And we were thrilled that this summer, the Planning Commission and the Select Board made some changes to the zoning that we could progress with converting space that had been empty for over a year, commercial space that had been open for over a year in the creamery into usable housing. As we all know, we're in a housing crisis, and the cost of construction is out of reach for most developers within a price market. So using existing space that is being unused by the current use, i.e. commercial, is an excellent way for us to progress and to try to provide more housing in Richmond at an affordable way. So our current plan is to take, but we also are committed and believe that the right thing to be doing is keeping a mixed use development going, so that we can be flexible in the future, that if the opportunity changes to bring in more commercial there for in future buildings. So I'm not saying we're walking away from mixed use at all, but this enables us to be a little bit more nimble based on the market design. So we have developed a plan based on those changing the rules. We've looked at reinvigorating the front commercial remaining spot to put in a kitchenette and a bathroom, because if not, they would have had to walk through a long building, and also to improve the access on the patio and the kind of street front vistage of the commercial unit. And then with the remainder of the commercial space, which is on the ground floor and on the lower floor, is to optimize that into 9 additional housing units. So each of them individual apartments. And what we've learned from our existing 14 units is that having a broad range of different type of units, i.e. from affordability and spec, is it's very helpful for the community, because then you attract a wide variety of individuals, and some people stay and move between the different units. So we feel like this mix of 9 units is going to be a wonderful addition to the community and is a good use of the space. So I think there's site plans, and Brendan's joined us now. So I'll just speed through. I mean, David,
Let me stop you for a
please.
second, Chelsye. Brendan, I need to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth?
Nothing but.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Chelsye, go on.
No worries. So, I mean, I'm curious it's been a while since we've been in front of you guys. So first of all, introductions to everyone who's new, but I wasn't sure if you want me to go through the narrative overall. I was kind of broad stroking what we were doing on how things, we could get into the details, we could answer questions. How would you best help? How would you like to run this?
Your narrative was posted, so I think we should be aware of it. And so going over it detail by detail, I don't believe is necessary. So if you hit the high spots, then we can open it up to the board and the public for any discussion.
Okay, so I think the only other thing that I would cover in that upfront section is related to the challenge that we face, and the reason you have 2 site plans in the pack of information is that we have an as-built, what we currently are living in terms of the infrastructure, and what our forecasted long-term planned unit development PUD. The as-built is what we launched back in, I think it was the last time we were in front of formally for the site plan was in 2017. And then the building actually launched in early 20. But then the PUD was approved in 2023. So the reason that there is we provided those 2 plans is that we're kind of blending those, because you can see where we're going long term, but not all those changes are going to be made here and today, because it's just out of scope and unnecessary, and we also don't want it, but that we are doing a multi-phased development, and we have 3 additional buildings planned. The current permit and the discussion today is really about optimizing that first building and trying to make the changes that are necessary to make that building operational. And also the other thing I need to point out is, as I pointed out early on, is keep it within reasonable, feasible cost constraints. I'm sure everyone is well aware of the challenges that that our community is facing in terms of construction. So we've tried to do our best to achieve all the objectives, but also to keep control so that we don't have inflated costs that need to go to service that debt in terms of rent or anything. So anyways, to move on beyond that, I've already talked through, we're doing 9 units. Very little is changing the exterior except and David, you already identified the front patio and access. And we also adding a bike barn to house and to achieve the multifamily housing regulations that require a certain amount of storage space. And then we're going to also do ADA compliant. We already have an existing outdoor living area where there's tables and chairs and Adirondacks. We're going to make that ADA compliant. And also we're going to be able to, through this project, connect 2 EV charging stations into the infrastructure. So those are the minor exterior things going on. In terms of other things that historically have been hit upon, we are oversupplying parking. There should be no issue with the usage around parking and traffic. We have done several traffic studies. The current traffic impact is below any threshold that would require any mitigation. So I know that historically was a big discussion point. We actually got, the only other thing would be environmental concern. We got our Act 250 jurisdictional opinion, the JO for this from ANR. So they have already given their thumbs up and actual seal of approval of these amendments. So anything that in terms of stormwater, wetlands, all those things that are always a point of conversation have been achieved with this permit, that have actually already been achieved. And then of course, once we're at the point where we are at fire and safety, we will work with the fire marshal to get a full review and get approval from the state around that. I'm scanning the narrative to things that catch out.
Have you had anything from the water department?
We
in
haven't.
Richmond?
We haven't gotten anything as of yet, because I know that we have an oversupply for the building, and we have an oversupply in the water department overall. But we also know that there's plenty of bandwidth. We would, once we have the final specs of what toilets we're putting in and all that stuff. I think Brendan has that and probably more in scope, but it wasn't a requirement I thought for this meeting, but that is well in scope of the future for sure.
Okay. Brendan, anything?
Well, we met with the water department there to look at some other things in the building while they were, I don't know what it was in relation to when the current commissioner, I'm not sure his title, came in, but I haven't talked to him specifically about the use calculation. And when I mentioned it to him back then, it was like, they're celebrating for any more users.
Right. So probably if the board sees fit to grant this, we're going to probably, one of the conditions will be that you obtain something in writing from the water department.
Of course.
Of course. We had that in scope, I think, once we were further down the pike on this.
Anything else from the applicants that you want to raise?
Not right now.
Does the board have any questions? Not here.
Sure.
Yeah.
No.
There was just one other recommendation in Dante's notes, that the applicant to perform, is a recommendation for any decision that the applicant perform maintenance on the existing paved parking spots to remedy general wear and tear. Any comments on that?
For us,
Yeah.
yeah,
I get.
that's
I'm looking at the
basically,
screen, which
I mean,
looks like I'm
that,
looking to the side. Yep.
the
Sorry, go ahead.
wording's accurate. It's, I mean, I was just there today all afternoon going through the building with the subs again, trying to prep for going forward with the apartments and looking at the parking lot, just because it's been challenging just from the pre-existing site of the excavation and all of the undermining and there's just settling that takes place over the first 5 years of all the material. And knowing that that it was really just a preliminary 2-inch lift of paving. And we've been patching it, but right now believe me, we were planning on patching before winter, which if we could still get the window, it's like the paving plant. So I think have now even they like the batch plants, they're weather dependent and we're kind of gotten hammered a little bit, but it's still, we might have to do a little stone maintenance for the winter potentially, depending how everything kind of goes here in the beginning of the winter season. But it's really it. I mean, our plan is to repave it, but we want to do building 2 before we wreck it. So it's been an ongoing maintenance thing and has to continue to be. Most of the people that use that spot are actually not from the building. Those front spots, we share with the neighbors. And whenever those spots are open, it's just informational. I mean, we've just been really good neighbors about like everybody and anybody that knows to park there in town parks there. And so it's whatever, it's kind of a symbiotic relationship.
Sure. All right, thank you. That's it.
Anything else? Is there anybody out there in the public that has questions? Yes, Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea Brooks. I just have a quick question, because when I was looking at the plans prior to this meeting, I was having a hard time understanding and just wanted to clarify. Is this like a ground floor and a basement? Because I, like when the sort of rezoning went in to be able to put housing units on the first floor, I anticipated like 1 floor, and this was confusing because it looks like 2. Can you?
It's 2 floors. It's 2 floors. It's a lower level or basement, actually, since it's not a walkout. And then we have egress windows put into the south side towards the cemetery side for there's 4 apartments downstairs.
Oh, okay, so the egress windows, the one that you have in the packet that like shows existing, but I'm pretty sure the plans say you're expanding them, correct? So there'll be actual like compliance, so somebody can escape in a fire through the egress.
We
window?
have to, we'd never get our building permit we'd never get a
That's why
certificate of
we-
occupancy from the state.
And that's
fire
also why
marshal.
we require a sign off from
Fire,
the
yeah,
state on that.
yeah, thank you, I just wanted to clarify, because I was looking at the
Yeah.
side
So
of the
in
building, there's 3 floors, but there's 4 floors of apartments, and I was like, where is this other floor? Thank you
So
very much.
they're existing office units right now. So they were being used and occupied for 5 years by Green Sea. They're beautiful window well units. And FYI, just so you know, just so that there's full transparency, is that actually the 2 ways of egress actually do not need to be through the window. It actually is, there's 2 egresses. We've already gone through that review process. So we've already mapped that out, but there will be an egress as well through that for humanity and light, because we want to maximize the light as well. But those will be very affordable and appealing apartments to some individuals. So
Thank you.
Anything else? No.
Thanks.
Anything from the board? Anything else from the applicants?
No.
What would the board like to do on this?
Move to approve with the recommendations and Dante's staff notes.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. We have 45 days to get you a decision. I'm sure we'll be much faster than that, and thank you very much. I think it's a good idea what you're doing.
great. Thanks.
Yeah,
Nice to
thank
see
you,
you,
guys.
David. All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Back here.
At this point, should I go grab Keith for transition? I'll be right back.
Okay, next on the agenda
Keep joining.
is APE 2025-01, Chelsye and Trevor Brooks are appealing the issuance of a zoning permit 2025-61 for various reasons. I think you know, there's been a request for a continuance in this matter. It's up to the board whether we'll grant it or not. Does anybody have a conflict with this matter?
I do. I need, as the person who approved the zoning permit application, I need to recuse myself.
Okay, and I'll give the same comment that I gave the last time we had something. I am an abutting landowner of the landowner whose permit is being appealed. However, he abuts me probably 90 acres away. And this, what's being discussed here is at least 3/4 of a mile from my property down the road. His property snakes around. So in my mind, I do not have a conflict. Does anybody want to challenge that?
I do not.
I mean, okay,
Expecting public comment on that, or?
well, so the, normally in this situation, we would take first your appeal and then allow the zoning administrator to rebut. However, since there's a motion to continue, I would like to do that. However, since you're here and you're the appellant, if you want to have something to say, you can.
So, I was referring to, the status of recusal, based on memos from the town lawyer regarding other situations at the DRB after the state changes with the ethics rules and our town adopting the state's ethics rules. The town lawyer issued a memo that said, as an abutting landowner, one should just recuse. And further, like sort of on top of that, the development that you are working on your property is very similar to the development that's happening on this parcel. So much so that it involves potential wetland impacts and things that are very closely mirror this. So I feel as though your interest in the outcome of this is just by nature of those things greater than another member of this town, because the outcome of this potentially reflects on outcomes at your own parcel.
Well, I'm privileged to own 180 acres of land. I don't believe just because I'm an abutter of someone who's literally close to a mile away from me, that should be an issue. Keith, do I need something more than that, or is it?
Well, I mean, it's a personal decision on your part.
Yeah,
And
I feel I can be fair in my mind. Whatever I'm doing on my property I'm doing on my property, has nothing to do with somebody anywhere else in town. I mean, if I accepted your suggestion, then anybody doing a 2-lot subdivision, you would say I would be recused from, which doesn't make any sense to me. So in my mind, Chelsye, I do not have a conflict, and I believe I can be objective in looking at this.
If you want any input from us,
Sure.
I don't see that you have any interests that are different than the average. Average citizen.
That's how I feel. Anybody else?
I don't see a conflict.
I don't see an issue here.
Yeah, I think if this application was asking the board to make a legal determination on an issue that has an impact on your situation, your personal situation, that might be a closer question. But I'm not seeing that at the moment. Nobody's identified anything, so I would not have an issue with your continuing.
No, I agree.
participation.
If I felt that this if this property and what's being proposed on this property had some context that would influence my property in any way, I believe that would be a conflict, but
Mhm.
literally the distance and everything else, I mean, there's probably 90 acres, or 80 acres between the end of this, what's being proposed here, and my property. And it's pretty heavy uphill, as you know, you've walked that land a lot. So, okay, having said all that, why don't we vote on the continuance? But Chelsye, if you want to enter some evidence about this, rather than wait till December 10th, we'll listen to it.
All right, let's,
Just a-
stop. What's the continuance request and what's its basis and who's making the request?
Okay, the applicant or the appellee is requesting a continuance. He couldn't make it today and he says he'll be able to make it on December 10th.
Okay.
Did we have a reason why he couldn't make it today?
No, just that he couldn't make it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was asked to schedule this as soon as possible. So as you know, I sent out the agenda on Friday. We got the appeal that afternoon, and so I turned it around on Monday and we got it on the agenda. And after that was done, I was told that Mr. McCormick wouldn't be able to attend, and neither would his engineers.
When did they let you know?
After the agenda went out.
Right, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess it seems like it would be in everybody's best interest to do it all at once. But understand that Chelsea's here and I don't know whether you can make the next one. I think David's question makes sense, but then again, the appellee is not here. I just don't want to add extra process or waste anybody's time, but yeah.
I think out of fairness, if Chelsea wants to have something to say, we'll do it, but is the board ready for a vote?
On the continuance.
Okay, so the question is,
Sorry, just to clarify, if we do continue, would we also allow Chelsea to testify?
Yes.
Okay, that's what you're suggesting.
Yep.
Thank you. If she.
I mean, I think it's better for you to testify when we have the application in front of us. So if we vote for continuance, then the application really isn't in front of us. But I think we're all prepared for the application, because you posted, everything's been posted.
But not reviewed. You haven't had time to review everything, have you? Or
I've
we
reviewed
just
everything that was
today.
posted.
Yeah,
I haven't reviewed anything that wasn't posted.
right, okay.
And that's another thing. We need to be fairly strict about additional evidence. And if you give to the zoning administrator evidence 1 or 2 days before the hearing, we will not have time to review it. And if we were to accept it, then we would have to have a continuance, because it's not fair to the board to, and I've been in that situation, trying to read evidence that's submitted to us while we're listening to the application or the appeal as in this situation. Any other questions about what we're voting on? What we're voting on is a continuance to December 10th,
December 10th, yes.
which is a date certain.
At a time as well. At
7 o'clock, yeah.
10th, yeah.
All in favor of a continuance? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay. Chelsea, do you want to say anything?
I mean, I guess I don't quite understand the process here because this was just continued without my input, given that I'm the appellant. I'm the one that properly warned this hearing. I'm the one that had to jump through hoops because the applicant wanted this done ASAP. I followed all the rules. And then they decided not to show up, which is a sort of continued history of nonsense here. So this is quite frustrating that that decision was just made before you allowed me to speak. And furthermore, on the note of evidence, I understand the board wanting to have evidence before a hearing so that you can review it ahead of time, but there's nothing in the Vermont like statute, the rules of evidence that says somebody can't present evidence to you the night of a hearing.
All I'm telling you is if you present evidence on the night of the hearing, as far as I'm concerned, and in the past, we have been very strict about that. We won't consider it. We'll ask for a continuance if you feel that if it's important evidence. It's impossible to, if you handed us handouts, for me to read a handout while the application's going on. It's just not fair to the board. And I don't think the Vermont rules of evidence, one, I don't think we're subject to the Vermont rules of evidence. And two, I think this is a decision that could be made on a board level, and that's the decision I've made.
Okay, I do think the Vermont rules of evidence come into play, and I respect that decision. I think that it is good for the board to prepare and plan ahead and review these things before a hearing. I think that I would request that your rules of procedure or something in the zoning bylaws that the DRB suggests to the planning commission, that the zoning bylaws for appeals be updated to include very clear expectations on that note, because excluding evidence.
I'm not talking about excluding evidence. I would not exclude evidence. I'm just telling you that for the board to be knowledgeable and to be able to understand whatever evidence you submit or anybody submits within 48 or 72 hours of the hearing, it's impossible for us to take that in and consider it. It's just you want us informed, any applicant wants us informed, and the only way we can be adequately informed and up to date is to have time to review this.
I understand that, and that's why the board has 45 days after a hearing to make a decision so that you can then.
No, you don't understand. We can't accept the evidence and then when the hearing's closed, all the evidence is in. No evidence can come in after it's closed. So you have an applicant who presents us with evidence very close to the time of the hearing. He has two choices. Either we continue the thing or we exclude that evidence. In all fairness to the applicants, I don't want to exclude evidence that they're submitting. So I would ask for a continuance. But then, keeps going.
I think something else to bear in mind here is other towns do it differently as well. Like I know in Winooski, they give you a certain drop dead date of when stuff can be submitted. And I believe it's been a couple years since I submitted a permit. It's about a week about when all the files can be submitted. So every town does it differently. I do agree with you. We should probably actually have it written somewhere to make that change later on. We're not the ones that make that decision. I think your suggestion is good, but I just want you to let you know, it's not just a Richmond, rule or whatnot. Other towns do require that everything be filed, by a certain date. So.
Yeah, no, I'm aware, and this is why I said I understand the logic behind the request. Just that the sort of on the paper rules don't sort of back that up, I guess, right now as written. And
It's sort of been, I'm sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, I understand the DRB doesn't make the rules, but one of the duties of a DRB in state statute is to suggest zoning amendments to the town planner and the planning commission. So that's why I mentioned that.
We've been historically, since I've been board chair, we've been pretty strict about evidence coming in very, very soon, very close to the date of the hearing.
Excuse me, sorry, not to interrupt you. That may very well be, it's not published. And So without somebody reviewing your hearings, that piece of knowledge wouldn't be available to them.
I would agree that for appeals, definitely, for applications before the DRB, there is a hard deadline for that. And that is 15 days before it needs to be, the application needs to be complete, to be deemed complete in order to be eligible for an agenda. So that by default requires an application to have all the materials presented at that time. And we deem it complete, it's eligible for an agenda. We do not accept additional application materials after that. So that's sort of the process that we go through for applications. Appeals are a different animal. They are. We'll give you that.
But in the same vein, the board wants to be fully aware and have time to digest all evidence. I would think both the appellant and appellee would appreciate that.
Well, it's at your discretion.
And I just made it. Chelsye, is there anything you want to discuss about this application? Or do you want to wait till December 10th?
I suppose there's a chat from my husband. I don't know if he chatted other stuff, but I don't understand the way a continuance works. So you asking me if I want to speak about it, anything, I'm not entirely sure of what you're asking of me. 'Cause if the
you're
hearing
here-
isn't active,
You're here and I'm
would
giving
that
you,
be-
you're here and I'm giving you a chance to speak. I think it would makes more sense if whatever you want to say to us, you say on December 10th when we have the hearing in front of us. But that's up to you.
But
You're here and I'm trying to be fair.
I think
to
I
you.
understand maybe Chelsea's question is like, what would the comment be? Because the hearing is not, it's been continued, so this is not the hearing on that appeal.
And
So
you're
we're
not allowed to talk to you about this because that would be considered an ex parte communication.
No, we're on the record. It's not ex parte.
I don't
Well,
understand.
you're regardless, right? I mean, the meeting has been moved to another date. That is when a decision will be made. So all of your testimony should probably be at that time.
That we could appreciate
that's-
your frustration and having come here and play by the rules.
I have no idea. I haven't reviewed my calendar. I have 5 children. I don't know if I'm available on December 10th. So that's why I brought up before you sort of cut me off and decided against on this continuance. This applicant has given no reason for why he's not here tonight, this appellee. I'm here. I followed the rules. I paid the fee.
You won't have to pay again, and if you can't
No, I
make the next
understand that.
meeting, we can shift it to
Continue it.
another date. I mean, to one that works for both of you.
And meanwhile, the applicant
Is
isn't
that
getting
allowed?
us
These
permit.
things have to be heard.
No, we could continue and continue. If you
Okay.
can't make it December 10th,
Yeah, I have no idea if I can. I'm not saying I can't. I just don't know. I haven't had a chance to work.
I mean, that would be only fair. If you can't make it, we'll continue it.
Okay.
And like David said, he can't continue with his project until this is resolved, so you're
I mean, that
not giving him the green light to keep
that hasn't
going.
stopped him. So, yeah. Certainly has not stopped this applicant before, at either this town or the state level. I suppose, I have a question. Given that you have reviewed all of the submitted materials and my appeal, are you between now and the next, like, right now is when you do stuff, I would assume. But they're not doing, sorry, I'm trying to think through this because this is not a hearing. Essentially, my thought in tonight, given that I was last minute told the appellee was not going to be here. My thought was, well, perhaps we will discuss things and find out if there's any more information that the board feels they need to review this. Especially from the appellee, because the assumption is that if he wanted to continue this, there's something he wants to present to you. And I don't feel that it is fair that he hasn't submitted any pre-meeting materials. He's holding back, he's stonewalling so that he can submit things perhaps right before the next meeting. And that just seems really like not judicially efficient and certainly not fair. to a hearing where you've had the opportunity to review what I have to say. If he feels he needs to be here, clearly he and his associates, whoever they may be, feel like they have something to submit to the board or to say. I want to, if this is heard on December 10th, I want this to be efficient and fair. I don't want this to be a circus.
I don't intend to let it be a circus.
So I guess I have a point of order as I wasn't on the board during the previous proceedings on this application. As I understand it, there is an outstanding permit for driveway construction, which has been issued and approved by this board. Appeal period has expired.
It was not a,
There was just a regular permit. It was just a zoning permit.
Just a zoning permit to build the driveway.
Correct, and then that was appealed.
And no
It was
CO
not
has ever
appealed.
been
It was
granted.
not appealed. The appeal period had run.
Got it. Okay. And I see from some of the photos that were submitted as exhibit that there is a driveway under construction.
It's constructed.
It's constructed. So then in reading the materials in preparation for this hearing, I could not understand what changes to the existing permit are being requested were requested in the amended permit and are the subject of this appeal. Is there some explanation of that would be helpful to me?
Well, it is
Just it says like, maybe it's similar as a point of order, like, I don't know. Like, we continued the hearing, now we're talking about project and the permits, like, are we? Like, I just kind of feel like we should just, we're not having a hearing, we should go home.
Yeah.
Talk about it when we're talking about it. Maybe I'm wrong, it just seems a little odd. I haven't been in this position where we're, continued an appeal and then we're talking about it. I just, it's a little.
However, what Bob's asking is not, I don't think is evidentiary for what the appeal is. I think he's asking why we're where we are at.
Yes,
Okay.
that's it
And
exactly.
Totally your call.
we were on the board before and Bob wasn't, so. Dante, can you respond?
happy to. Would you like me to?
Please.
Yeah, sure. So the question is, what's changing from the original driveway permit
Yeah.
to the amended one?
Yeah, what does the amended permit request that was
Right.
not in the original permit?
Yeah, so the original permit, the original driveway permit, it basically goes further up the hill. Through working with the state, it was determined that they would need a general construction permit for stormwater runoff if they were to build it all the way to the top.
Mhm.
So this amended zoning permit application, as I understand it, is to be under that threshold and not trigger that. So the driveway wasn't built all the way to the top of the hill. It was more or less built to the existing house that was permitted by this, or that was permitted and is subject to an appeal before the environmental court right now.
So the amended permit seeks approval for activity on the ground that is beyond the point of the present completion of the driveway?
No, it's more so to document the changes that happened from what was initially permitted. There was a few features added on this amended driveway permit that didn't exist in the original one. One's like a turnaround halfway through up for like a emergency services vehicle. Another one's a forebay into a culvert at the bottom of the driveway. And from my understanding, those are the only changes besides the length of the driveway. The other reason why we needed to reissue, or why we needed to do an amended zoning permit application, is because it was initially approved with the condition that the total length of the driveway for its entire length be 24 feet.
Total width.
Total width, excuse me, thank you. Yes, width 24 feet.
Okay.
Under the Richmond zoning regulations for the high density residential district, driveway lengths can be 12 to 36 feet. And so we felt that it was a condition that should be removed to not trigger that state construction permit. So those were the main reasons, those were the main changes and the impetus behind it.
Does that satisfy you?
Yeah, I just want,
Chelsye?
that's why I raised this as a point of order. I agree with Padraig's comment that we really don't want to be discussing the merits of the appeal, but I just wanted to understand what the procedural posture of the case was. Yeah.
Chelsye?
So unfortunately, there's many things that he just said that aren't accurate. So now I don't know where we. go.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now you're getting into
I'm
the,
not talking about merits, I'm talking about the differences, like. And I will pause and not even say the things that I think are different if you don't want me to.
I'm,
Dante was just permitted to talk about the things that he believes are different, so I don't know why I wouldn't be warranted that same grace.
shouldn't have opened it up. No,
This is where.
no, I don't disagree with you. If you wish to speak, please do. Let me swear you in. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. So not bringing up plans because this is not the hearing. The original driveway permit, as Dante said, was permitted for 24 feet wide, 2,283 feet long. And that's pretty much it. 24 feet wide, 2,283 feet long. You can review the plans. I'm not going to get into it, but there's nothing else on them other than the driveway. And so the new plans, I'm just talking about the plans that Dante just spoke about. They do shorten the length of the driveway. They stop the gravel part just past the home site. However, they add ditching that you'll notice. Hopefully you'll review these things. The ditching that is not on the original plans. They add a culvert that is not on the original plans. They change the site of several culverts. Other changes are the width, as the width is not 24 feet wide. The as-built width is what they're trying to sort of capture in this permit. So the different widths of the driveway. And there are now project boundaries on the new plans. The old plans had no project boundaries, no limits of disturbance, no sort of indication. There was no legend on the original plans. So quite frankly, like the plans were, here's the driveway, it's going to be this width and this length. And 12% grade, that was kind of the key, how to get this to a 12% grade. And so the new plan has project disturbance boundaries. It has different slopes on these boundaries. You can tell just by comparing the two plans. So I want the board to know these things. That is different than what Mr. Donald has just discussed, saying there's really no differences, because there are several that before we adjourn, I guess, tonight and lead into the following meeting, I want the board to have that sort of, I guess, perspective of the changes.
Great, thank you.
So I originally raised this question because we're considering an appeal in the context of an existing permit, which is final and non-appealable. So the applicant has certain rights under that permit. And I was trying to understand, what are those rights and how do they compare with what it is that's being requested in this amended permit? Because that has direct bearing on the boundaries of this appeal. If we already approve something and the appellant is objecting to that, well, that would be out of bounds because it's a final and non-appealable decision on that point.
Something to talk about during the hearing.
Right. So I just wanted to understand where we were. I have a better understanding now, and I agree we should not go any further than that.
Good.
I will review my calendar and let
Yeah, please let
the zoning office
Keith
know
Dante
that,
know.
yeah, I will let you know if I can attend on December 10th.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'd entertain a motion to adjourn, since we don't have anything to consider.
So moved.
Can I
Second,
ask a quick question before you go?
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just about item 1. You guys moved to approve that, but then you also said you're going for 45 days to get back to those folks. So are you going to have, are you moving into discussion now, or are
Now,
you?
under the law,
adjourning?
we have approved it and we have 45 days to issue a written decision.
Okay, so you're really adjourning now. You're not going to
We're
deliver.
not going into deliberative session.
Cool, thank
Clear.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.